As I said, it smells really good. That is lovely. The meat is really tender, it just sort of melts in your mouth. Hi everyone and welcome back to Gigi's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name is Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make this delicious oven baked beef and black bean noodles. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make a really delicious oven baked beef and black bean noodle dish. Now I know it's not traditional to put stir fries into the oven, but I find when I bake any meat dishes in the oven, the meat tends to become lovely and tender and juicy, and it adds a lot of extra flavour to that dish. So today I'm going to put this into the oven. It is a slightly time-consuming method, but the efforts are worth the results. So the first thing I've done is I've put a large pan onto a high heat on my hob, and I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the base of that pan, and then I'm going to leave that pan to heat up. But before I go, I just want to say that if you have enjoyed this video today and you'd like to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you did really enjoy this video, then please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And if you have any questions or any comments, then please feel free to leave those in the comments section below. Everything like that really helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. So as I said, I'm going to leave this pan to heat up. The pan is getting nice and hot, and I've grabbed myself a plate, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry off this beef, and then once I've fried off the beef I will remove it from the pan. But I'm just going to fry this now until it goes a lovely golden brown colour, and I'm actually going to turn the heat down slightly as well because the pan is a bit too hot. So yeah, as I said, I'm just going to continue to fry the beef. The minced beef has browned all over, so what I'm going to do is I've got myself a slotted spoon, and I'm going to try and leave as much of the liquid in the bottom of the pan as possible, and I'm just going to take out the mince from the base of the pan. Then once I've removed this mince, I'll add in my spring onions and other vegetables to the bottom of the pan. I'm just trying to get out as much of the mince as possible, because the bottom of the pan is where all of the flavour will now be. So right, I think that's as much as I can get out there. So I'm going to add in the spring onions. So I've got about 8 spring onions here that I've just simply removed the tops and the bottoms from, and then I've just sliced into about 1/2 centimetre pieces. And I'm going to pop that into the base of the pan, and I'm going to fry the spring onions until they start to soften. And I think I'm just going to turn the heat back up slightly as well by 1, because hopefully they will start to fry a little bit quicker. So the spring onions have started to soften, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 carrot that I just simply peeled and sliced into lengthways pieces, and then I've also got 1 red pepper that I sliced the top from and removed the core and the stalk, and then just sliced and diced the flesh. I'm just going to pop those into my saucepan like so. And then I'm going to add in green beans. So I've got 1 handful of green beans here. I'm just going to pop that in like so. And I'm going to fry these for about, I'd say 2 to 3 minutes. You don't have to let them soften if you don't want to. If you want them to soften, I would fry them for a lot longer. But 2 to 3 minutes is fine, because they're also going to go in the oven as well. So they will soften a lot once they're in the oven. So I'm just going to continue to fry these for about 2 more minutes, I'd say. These have been frying for a good 2 minutes, and they've started to cook nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add back in the minced beef that I removed from the pan earlier. I'm just going to stir everything together like so. So let me take that like that. So I'm just going to stir these ingredients together so everything is well mixed in, and then to that I'm going to add some dried ginger, ground ginger. So I've got a teaspoon of ground ginger going in, and then I've got a teaspoon of oregano or oregano, depending on which continent you're standing. And then I'm also going to put in a tablespoon of tamari, like so. And then to that I'm going to add about 200 ml of chicken stock. You can use bone broth as well if you want to, or you could use vegetable stock too. And I'm just going to mix these ingredients together again, like so. And I'm going to turn the heat up. And I'm just going to go and grab the salt and pepper. I've turned the heat up and this has started to come to the boil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the black beans that I cooked off earlier. I've done a video on how to cook black beans, and I will link that video in the description box below for you. But I weighed out about I think it was about 120 grams of black beans yesterday, which I think would add up to 1 tin of black beans. I think that's about right. I had soaked them overnight and then I drained them this morning, and I put them into a pan with cold water and I brought them to the boil, added salt and pepper and a bit of baking powder, because baking powder helps them to cook a bit quicker. And then I left them to cook, and then I drained them off again, and as you can see I have just added them to the stir fry. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my salt and pepper. So salt and pepper to your taste. You don't have to add it if you don't want to. We like a little bit, but we don't like too much in this house. So, and as this has come to the boil, I'm going to grab the lid over there and I'm going to pop this into the oven now for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then I will cook off some noodles and I'll try some of this and let you know how it tastes. But this smells so good right now. The stir fry has been in the oven for a good hour and it is looking delicious and smelling really good as well. So I'm going to cook off some noodles. I'm going to take this out of the oven, cook off some noodles, and then I will try some and let you know how it tastes. But it smells really good, as I said. As promised, I'm going to try a little bit of this now. I've got some of the beef on the spoon and one of the noodles as well, and some of the black beans as well. As I said, it smells really good. That is lovely. The meat is really tender. It just sort of melts in your mouth. And there's a subtle hint of ginger, but not too much. If you wanted to add more ginger, then you could, please do. We only like a little bit in this house. We don't like a lot. Well, my husband loves ginger, but my son and I are a little bit less ginger fans, so I only ever put a little bit in. But yes, that is delicious, and I am really looking forward to having this for my dinner this evening. That's how you make this yummy dish, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be having this for my dinner this evening, and it smells and tastes so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll be watching my next video.